Sister Shirlene is out there playing with the Lord. Mama came to the door. But she looked out there and saw me, shouting and dancing all over the backyard, tears running down my face. It's just a laugh. Mama looked out there and she said, she ain't playing this time. Hallelujah! And I remember Mama. Oh, Lord. I remember Mama. I remember Mama. Oh, yeah. I remember Mama. She may be dead and gone, but I remember. I remember my Mama. In a happy way.
And now back to Ask Pastor Deb on WOSDRadio.com.
Welcome back to Ask Pastor Deb. I am feeling so much better now that I have gotten over my emotional part of today. Yes, Mother's Day is a great day, but it's also a hard day for me because this is the first Mother's Day without my mom. But it's okay because God is my comforter. He is my strength. We can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. And because of that, I am able to celebrate Mother's Day. How about that? I am still a mother, and so I'm looking forward to the rest of the week because my children have promised me, they have sent me some special gifts, and I'm so excited about that. I also want to give a shout out to my grandmother and my great grandmother. Mama Daniels was a mother to all, just like my mother was. She used to take us in, and Mama Daniels is my great grandmother. And I think I met Mama Daniels when she was 70 years old, okay? And she lived to be 95. And I really, really enjoyed being up under her as a child. We would often get dropped off to Mama Daniels' house, Mama and Papa Daniels' house, if our parents had to, and I'm speaking of my cousins and I, if our parents had to run errands or do anything, and we find ourselves sometimes down there all day long. But it was such a good time sitting on the porch with Mama Daniels. I tell you, and Mama Daniels could cook in that kitchen. Oh my God, pot roast and homemade biscuits. And we used to have to keep the Alaga syrup bottle because that was Mama Daniels' rolling pin. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about here. But that's what she used for her rolling pin when she made those homemade biscuits, homemade pie crust. I mean, if she would see some of the stuff that was out today where you could just, take it out the package and lay it in the pan, she would probably be like, them girls don't know how to cook. They don't know nothing about no cooking. But shout out to Mama Daniels and my grandmother, Ella Mary James. Oh my God, my grandmother was, I used to call her Queen Mother, or Mother Dear, not Mother Dear, but Mother Dear, because she was so classy. She was just a classy woman. She had 4 children, and she named them all E's. Her name was Ella Mary James, and she married Earl James, my grandfather. And all of her kids were E's, and I just thought that was so cool. But I wanted to make sure I never named my kids the same initial because I just didn't like that. But anyway, shout out to Ella Mary James, my grandmother, awesome woman of God. She became a nurse at the tender age of about, I think she was 62. I'll never forget that. She was a registered nurse at 62. She used to care for people. She was like the doctor in the family. Anything happened, call Ella Mary. She'd come right over. My grandmother was a very special woman. She used to live in Three Rivers, Michigan when she moved from Chicago to Three Rivers, Michigan. And she had a real country house with strawberries. She grew strawberries and berries and lettuce and tomatoes, and she had a garden, and it was real big, and she canned fruit and she canned vegetables. And my grandmother was an awesome cook as well, and she was a nurturer. My children, except for Mikey, got a chance to be with her in the summers, and I just miss my grandmother and my great grandmother. They were powerful women of God and just lovely, lovely mothers. And so shout out to my grandmother and my great grandmother. My grandmother Watlington, S.E. Watlington, S.C. Hudson Watlington was her name. I didn't get a chance to know her. She actually passed away when my father was 15. And so, but still, shout out to Grandma Watlington as well. So now let's get back into the scriptures, because this is the way that I get all my comfort, and whenever I'm feeling bad or down, or just sad about things. And like I said, Mother's Day, my first Mother's Day without my mom, and some very other people that were very, very close to me, and they were like mothers to me, have gone on to be with the Lord. But I look at it as a good thing. I want to shout out another mother who just passed, and she really didn't even have any biological children, but she took all of us in as her children, and her name was Velma Sykes, and she just passed last week, and I just want to send a shout out to Miss Sykes. All right. Proverbs 31, verses 25 through 28, and it reads, "Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness." This is Proverbs 31, verses 25 through 28. Women are strong and resilient, and they best serve their families by inspiring kindness and perseverance in their children. And my mama surely did that for me. My mother was a strong-willed woman of God. And I'm going to throw that woman of God in there, because even when my mother would get upset or mad, my mother didn't curse. She didn't do anything. If you heard her curse, she had to be really, really mad. And then after she cursed, she would, "Oh my God, forgive me. Please forgive me, Lord. I didn't mean to say that." So in a way, I was kind of glad that she knew some curse words, because I knew at sometimes she should have been cursing a whole bunch of folks off. But that's another show. But she was so kind, and she was so gentle, and just like what the scripture says, she looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. My mother took care of her family. She took care of her Norman, her Carl, and her Deborah. It was us. My mother was very, very focused. Like I said, she was an awesome woman of God. She did the things of God. If anyone came to the house, they would know that my mother was going to pray for them. She had some kind words for them. She had a little witness book or some pamphlet for them. She always had a bag of stuff that talked about the Lord. My mother used to take all the children on the block and in her family to Vacation Bible School. Oftentimes, if everybody couldn't fit, and this was back in the 60s and 70s, before we had all these seatbelt laws and all that, and you could put about 25 kids in the car, as long as they was all, sitting down, and wasn't nobody, really seen, because we used to sit on the floor of the car and on the seats in people's lap and everything. And she would double back sometimes and get the kids off the block to go to Vacation Bible School. I remember at her funeral, homegoing services, there were so many people that came, and the first thing they said to me was, "Man, I remember when Miss Wallington used to take me to Vacation Bible School." And I used to think, man, everybody always bragging about Vacation Bible School. I went to Vacation Bible School, and it wasn't all that. But it was the point of my mother getting them there, making sure that they went on all the trips and stuff that the church used to have. And, just letting them know about Jesus. And a lot of times, my mother introduced people to Jesus without even letting them know that that's what she was doing. And that's that stuck with me because look who I am. I'm Pastor Deb. And, I got this way because of some of my struggles, I know, but I have to look back and reflect on my mama and the things that she did. My mother used to feed people and make sure that, like we'd be on the street, riding down the street and she see somebody going through the garbage can and she said, hold on, I'll be right back. And she'd run up to McDonald's and go get them a meal and give it to them. I've seen my mother give out $50 one day to a group of girls they had their babies. These were teenage moms, and they had their baby and they was playing with their babies at a water fountain. Back in the day, we used to have water fountains on the streets. Yes, they were water fountains and it was good water, cold water too. But anyway, she saw this girl washing her baby up in the water fountain. And she said, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Ma'am, our water got cut off today and I don't have no way to clean my baby. So I'm going to wash her up here. My mother ran and took her down to, it was a hotel on 39th Street. I'm talking about the south side of Chicago, y'all. And she got that girl a room for the night so that her and her baby had somewhere to stay and they had running water. Just a few of the things that my mother did. My mother did a lot for her community and also her church community, which was West Point Baptist Church at the time. And she started a lot of food pantries. She worked with Chicago Food Pantry in Chicago, and she would do the walkathons, telethons, always raising money to help people, to feed people. My mother definitely was a nurturer. She was a woman of God. She provided needs, and I love and I miss her so much. But I look at myself sometimes and I realize that the things that I'm doing, even being a nutrition assistant, which is a lunchroom lady, out of all the jobs that I could have picked, I picked that one because it made me feel like I was doing things like my mom, serving the kids and loving on the kids. And although, people look down on us sometimes as lunchroom lady, or you don't make no money or anything like that. But what I'm doing for the children, just even being able to smile at them sometime when they grab for their pizza and know that they didn't have to grab it for that. And I just look at them and give them a smile and they say, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I think it's so cute them calling me ma'am, but it's just what mothers do. We're talking about mama, right? So I can just tell you how important it is to be a great mama. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Now let's look at another scripture. Oh boy, I'm getting so emotional. Proverbs 31, we're going to continue with verse 28 through 31. And it says here that her children rise up and call her blessed. Amen. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Proverbs 31, verses 28 and 31. That's the synopsis of that verse. A mother who serves her family well will earn the eternal gratitude of her children and spouse. And I think that's what I'm trying to say about my mama. Woo! My mama was so special. Not only to her family, but to others as well. She kept it going. I love the way Lorene calls her mama, mommy. And I used to call my mommy too, growing up. But then as she got older, I call her mama because she was my mama. I remember going to the nursing home, seeing her in her final years. And my mother suffered with dementia for 8 years. And I remember going to see her, and I started videoing her and making, Facebook Lives and stuff so that she could talk to the people that were called Team Earlene. I'm so sorry. Team Earlene. And